first sip was hot. What's going on, everybody? We are on the road again today. Last day, right outside of Memphis, Tennessee. The roads are bad. The lighting is bad, so we'll just have to deal with that today. But we've had a good vacation. So here's what I want to talk about today. I saw a quote yesterday from Matt at Texas Toast Guitars, and he said, and I like this a lot. Let me see if I can find this right. I think that people who assign their guitar some kind of quote-unquote tool status are missing the point. If the tone and the soul of the guitar is in the hands of the player, why not pay the craftsman the same courtesy? And I was like, I can see my gimbal automatically adjusting as we go around corners. As we're moving, yeah. I agree with him. I think, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, that people that think that their guitars are tools are probably tools too. There's an art to this thing. We spend a lot of time telling people tone is in the hands. The player matters more than the guitar. All you have to do is practice and the gear doesn't matter, right? But if we're willing to give the player all that credit to make the guitar awesome and sound awesome, then why don't we assign some of that honor to the person who actually created the thing? Because without it, you wouldn't be doing any of it. Because the guitar is more than a tool. It is way more than a tool. It's like a hammer is a tool. A combination wrench is a tool, right? You don't drive 3 hours to the next biggest city to try out a hammer or a wrench. You don't search. Okay, they're like a combination wrench. You don't search for the one that makes you feel good when you use it. I mean, okay, maybe real tool nerds do, but most of us are like, hey, where's my 10 millimeter? That's the one we always lose. Right? You don't, I don't know. You just don't, and you don't lose a 10 millimeter. You lose a 10 millimeter and just drive to Harbor Freight and get another one. You don't do that with a guitar. You don't hang a hammer on the wall and show your friends when they come over, right? Dude, I got a new hammer. I mean, okay, maybe there's some weirdos out there that do that, but for the most part, you don't do that. Because a guitar is an emotional object. It's not it isn't a tool. Well, I play for a living and it's just a tool to me. But it isn't. You picked a color, you picked a finish, you picked a neck profile, you picked a pickup combination, and most importantly, if you don't like how it sounds and it doesn't do what you want it to do, you don't use it. You don't like it. You create an attachment with it. Otherwise, it wouldn't matter at all. You've probably played that same tool for however many years, and you're attached to it. It's, and then the next argument people are going to say, well, but yeah, Matt makes his guitars, by hand or, with a pin router. He doesn't use a CNC machine. Most guitars are built by machines. Yes. But one of the things that I wish people would sort of get a grip about machine-made guitars is all they do is cut the wood into a shape. That's all they do. That's all they do. They're just a router. That's it. That's it. A CNC machine is a router. That's all it is. In this context. So somebody had to think of the shape. Somebody had to design the shape. Somebody had to pick the materials. Somebody had to pick the finishes. Somebody had to make sure that all of that stuff was going to be compatible with each other. Somebody had to do a bunch of testing. Somebody did a lot of drawing on napkins and on notebooks and like thought of stuff probably for years and iterations. And, you know, Matt has taken 10 years to get his Challenger design where he wants it to be. You know, and, you know, iterations over iterations and development and testing. Machines don't care about all that. They don't even know all that. The person has to do all that. Like, there is so much blood, sweat, and tears gone into a guitar, no matter who makes it or how it's made, that this person has put everything into it. They've dedicated their life. They've mortgaged their house. You know what I mean? Like, to execute this idea. A lot of passion goes into it, you know. Decades of experience have gone into it. The machine is just repeating the idea so that more of us can have it in a shorter amount of time. That's the only thing it's doing. But the idea is from a human being. The idea is from a passion. So I think that we should do more to respect the craft. Respecting the craftsmanship of building product is something that I think we have lost in the just as good as era, because there's a lot of people that just want cheap, you know. But all that stuff is done by a person. And I know there's people that just like eat at McDonald's all the time and don't care where their food comes from. You know, they wear an Apple Watch, don't care how the time is told. I get that. I know that there are people like that. But when you wear a mechanical watch, when you cook your own food at home or recognize the work of a chef, like, it just levels everything up. It just levels everything up. What Matt said, if we say the tone is in the hands of the player, but maybe we should extend the same courtesy to the people who made the guitar. Yeah, the person who made the guitar does not play the guitar for you, but they absolutely shape and affect the experience that you're having when you pick it up. From the moment you pull it out of the box, how the case looks when you open the case, the smell, the feel, everything. The builder of that guitar, whether it be a CNC machine at a factory or a craftsman, somebody like Matt, they give the guitar life. People want to say that, you know, guitars breathe and all that. Obviously they don't. Literally, they're just a piece of wood. That's all it is. It's a piece of wood and some wire. That's it. That's hard. I need to get my laptop out of your mirror away. But the builder gives all that wood personality. They give it a life. They give it. Everybody wants to talk about mojo. Well, that's where it comes from. You know, I think that's really important, and that is why it's important to appreciate, you know, the nicer stuff. In a world of you pay too much and just as good as and just a brand and all that stuff, you could have got a cheaper one. Maybe you could have. Maybe you couldn't have. I suppose. But sometimes the thing that you're paying for is the fact that somebody made a cool thing. And you like that story. I like that story. I like the fact that my pocket knife was designed designed by a guy named Rick. His name is Rick. He designed this knife. I think that's pretty neat. I think that when I play my Texas Toast guitar, when I play my Fender, when I play my Gibson, I think that's cool. That those are designed by a person. Some of them are historical and dead. Some of them are still alive. But it doesn't matter. I think it's pretty neat. That feeling is worth something. And I think that we should respect the people that design the stuff and be willing to pay for that. That's pretty cool. Whether it's a small builder, whether it's a big brand. Because the big brand has spent 70 years or 80 years or 100 years figuring all of this out. And figuring out how to not only make a cool guitar, some people are like, I wish they would innovate. Well, part of what they do is doing it the old way, which is cool, right? To me, like for example, the reason that Gibson is cool is because it's still a nitrocellulose finish. Okay, so it's a little different now because the laws have changed, VOCs and all that. But the way they bind the guitar with, the string going all around it, that's pretty cool. That's like a traditional way of doing it. It's pretty neat. So they kept that tradition alive. They've kept that sort of part of the passion alive, even though they've had to scale up certain things so that we don't have to wait 5 years to get a guitar, right? So it's either you wait 5 years to get a guitar or you have a machine involved sometimes, but it doesn't matter. That whole concept of passion and design is behind the whole thing. I think it's really cool. And in a world of AI, we're worried about trying to figure out who's playing what on what video and if it's real. At least I know that my guitar was made by a person. I think that's pretty neat. Even if it was made by a CNC machine too, if I buy a Fender or if I buy a Gibson, I know that there's some dudes and some gals sanding some stuff and painting stuff and soldering stuff and doing real things to make the guitar come into existence and put a product in my hand that I can be proud to have, So I love this quote. I think that people who assign their guitars some kind of tool status are missing the point. I agree, Matt. If the tone and soul of the guitar is in the hands of the player, why not pay the craftsman the same courtesy? When you decide to buy your next guitar,